My name is Bill Lau. I'm the chief of the Laboratory to Atmosphere, the lab in which Yoram Kaufman used to work in. I first met Yoram at Goddard in February 14, 1981. That was 25 years and 119 days ago, to be exact. That day stuck in my mind because that was also the first day I came to work at Goddard. And that happens to be Valentine's Day too. And my wife constantly reminded me of that. I remember being introduced by my new boss, El Arkin, who's sitting here in the audience, to a lot of people. One of them was a young man with a heavy accent, with a full head of hair. He was Xeroxing from a book in the copy room. We said hello and introduced ourselves. He was very friendly, carried a big smile in his face when he talked, and he has a very firm handshake. I learned, among other things, that he was from Israel, having just gotten my US citizenship after being a foreign student for many years. I felt a very special kinship to this man. This was my first encounter with Yoram. Then several years came and gone. I did not see much of or talk to Yoram except sometimes bumping him into the hallway and saying hi. That's even though we worked in the same branch. Well, the lab was a large place, and we were in fact both in atmospheric science, we were actually in quite different fields. He studied aerosol, I studied fluid dynamics, and we were at the time both busy struggling to develop our career path. The second time I had a substantive conversation with Yoram was again in that same copy room, and that was in the late 1980s. I learned that he had gone back to Israel for 2 years and was now back to Goddard to stay for good. It was not until I became branch head and then later on lab chief that I began to learn more about Yoram's scientific achievements. Well, because I actually had to review his work and did his performance evaluation. So obviously he got outstanding all the time. I don't even have to review it. And we talked quite a bit about aerosol science, and I really learned a lot from him. But I came to really know Yoram as a friend, not from work, but from outside of work. One day about, I don't remember, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, he asked if me and my wife played bridge. And if so, he'd like to invite us to play bridge with his wife and his bridge buddies. I told him we played bridge while we were in college, and that's over 20 years ago. And we're not quite sure we were really up to it. In his usual casual manner, he said, it didn't matter, and just come. So we did. And that started a new relationship between our two families. We've been playing bridge semi-regularly almost every other month or so since then. My wife and I are very thankful that through bridge, Yoram and Jean welcome us into their lives outside work and into their circle of friends. As many of you know, bridge is like a game of life. You build a contract, you plan, you take risks, you execute your plan to meet the contract. To win, you have to rely on your skill, teamwork, and partnership. That sounds like NASA project. As you can guess, Yoram and Jean are excellent bridge players. For Yoram, when pondering the odds whether it's a good idea to take risks or go for a higher bid, his attitude has always been, why not? If you don't try it, you never know. But bridge is also a game of luck. Even the best player loses sometimes. When you deal a really bad hand, there's nothing much you can do to change the outcome. We actually are supposed to have a bridge game today, June 4th, with Yoram and Jean planned several weeks ago. But sadly, it's a game that never will be. Yoram was dealt a very bad hand last Friday. With Yoram's passing, the scientific community lost a great leader. The world lost an ardent protector of its environment. We lost a great friend and a dear colleague. Above all, his family lost a loving husband and a caring father. While many of us cannot help but overcome by the shock and sadness of his passing, we should also realize that it should be a time to remember and celebrate a lifetime achievement of a remarkable human being. I have learned a lot from Yoram about science and about life. If he were here today, I'm sure he would say, "Go on and rejoice for science, family, and life." And I will always remember, in my moment of weakness and decision, the big grin in his face when he said, "Why not? If you don't try it, you'll never know."